Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's podcast. I hope that you've been having a really lovely weekend and had a good bank holiday yesterday, enjoying this lovely weather. I thought that it would be really good to make the most of this weather and actually share this week's podcast from my lovely garden here. So hopefully you'll enjoy being out in the sunshine with me this week. So this week we're looking at the next chapter from the book, and it's about embracing the church. You see, as human beings, it's really easy for us to get upset about things or get frustrated when things don't go the way that we would like, and we can be very quick to find fault in things and to pick holes in the things when they're not the way that we would want. Sometimes it's not intentionally either, but just because we care so much about something, we want it to try and be perfect. That wanting it to be perfect can just get us annoyed with it when it isn't that perfect that we'd want it to be. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes we can catch ourselves. I think sometimes I can catch myself getting frustrated with the church because of the building or the music isn't how I would like it to be, or the message maybe isn't all that inspiring for me. It doesn't interest me that much. It can be really easy for us to pick holes in things when they're not the way that we would like them to be. So whatever it is, it's really easy to do that, and we need to try not to pick holes in things and moan about the church. We can always at some point find something we would like it to be done differently, can't we? But you see, the thing is, what we've got to continue to try and remember is that the church is not about the building or the music that we sing or about the coffee that we share afterwards or whether the message is really all that engaging for us or not. The church is about God's people coming together to worship Him and to support one another. The church isn't a building, it is a people, God's people. So you see, we need with all of our hearts desperately to try not to moan and complain and pick holes about things that aren't the way that we would like them to be. The church is sometimes referred to as well as the bride of Christ. You see, Jesus absolutely loves the church and He wants to see it thrive massively. And if we choose to pick holes and moan about things and move away from church because we get frustrated with things, then it damages the church, you see. It damages the church because the church is the bride of Christ. It is a group of people. And when all of the people decide to give up on the thing or walk away from it because it's not perfect, then it falls apart. If we walked away from things that weren't the way that we'd like them to be, then nobody would ever be committed to anything, would they? The book shares these three characteristics of Jesus which can help us to try and embrace the church more in our daily lives. The first one is forgiveness. There's going to come times when we need to be willing to forgive the church. You see, human beings, we have a tendency to mess things up and to make mistakes, don't we? And sometimes you may even get hurt in the process. You might get hurt as a result of people messing things up and making mistakes. But the character and person of Jesus teaches us to forgive other people when they make these mistakes or if they hurt us. You see, we all need forgiveness from other people from time to time, don't you think? I know I do. I make so many mistakes, and I'm totally reliant on God's forgiveness and other people's forgiveness. We need to practice the art of forgiving one another, and I think forgiving the church sometimes as the group of people to forgive one another. We need to practice the art of being able to forgive one another when we make these mistakes. Is there someone maybe this week that you need to be forgiving, someone in church that you need to forgive? The second thing is commitment. You see, Jesus was totally committed to His 12 disciples. Even though they screwed things up a lot, kind of like how we do, He was still totally committed to them all the time. He never walked away from them when they messed things up. He never threw in the towel and gave up on them when they got things wrong or made mistakes. He was totally 100% committed to those 12 disciples. And I think in the same way, we need to be committed to the church, to the group of people that the church is, supporting it and supporting each other and the decisions that the church makes as a collective. We need to be committed to the people of the church, not walking away from one another when we get frustrated with other people or something that they do. I wonder, how could you maybe this week be committed to the church in some way? And the third and final thing is self-giving sacrifice. We see this most from the person of Jesus in his act of dying on the cross and giving up his life for us, his sacrifice, so that you and me and we could be forgiven and have a relationship with God. That's the ultimate sacrifice. You see, the church is a place that is about sacrificially giving. That may mean our finances, giving to the works of the church financially, or it might be about giving up your time to help serve somewhere in the church. There are so many areas of church life that rely almost completely on people volunteering their time to make things happen. It might also be about sacrificing maybe what you think is the right idea, maybe what you think is best, what you would do, instead to get behind someone else to support them in what they think is better and to help them. Whatever it is, I wonder, where could you sacrifice something this week to the church? Where could you be self-giving to the church this week? You see, it becomes much harder for us to slag something off when we are forgiving that thing or that person, when we're totally committed to it and we're sacrificially giving to it as well. When in our hearts we decide to embrace the church with its highs, its lows, the good bits and the bad bits, we can be growing a deeper, loving, caring and faithful community of Jesus followers. That's what the church is. And sometimes, yes, this is easier said than done. I know that very well. And it can be hard work for us to be forgiving and committed and giving of our time. But if we try to see the church through the lenses that Jesus sees it through, then we can't help but love the church, the people of the church, to forgive when they make mistakes, to be committed to the thing 100% and to give of ourselves, our time, our money to the church. Because when we see it through Jesus' eyes, we can't help but do that. I wonder, what would the church look like if we spent more time celebrating the highs and the good things about being church, instead of moaning and picking holes in the things that aren't the way that we would like them to be. I wonder, where this week can you be forgiving, committing to the church and giving of yourself, maybe time or money or whatever it may be. Where can you be trying to embrace the church this week, the good and the bad, in all its fault and all of its glory together? Hope that's been helpful for you this week, and look forward to seeing you at some of the stuff we do. But for now, God bless. Have a fantastic week.